G'day guys, welcome back to Big Red Adventures. It's Ben here, and in this video I'm going to be doing a solo trip up to a small campground just north of Brisbane. But the main feature of this video, and you might have seen it in the title, I've bought a new vehicle, it's second hand, and without further ado, here it is, my new Holden Colorado. So this is the new rig. After a lot of searching, I decided to go with the Colorado. I was umming and ahhing about ute versus wagon, and I've been thinking about getting a ute for a little while now, and with what happened with the Prado, which I'll get into a bit later when I'm sitting down at camp and I got a cold beer in my hand, but after what happened with the Prado, I needed a new 4B, a new car, and I'd been wanting the ute sort of canopy setup. For a while, I've seen a couple of mates have it, and Sam's had it in the past, and I've always been a fan of how well set up it appears to be. And I've heard positives and negatives about it, but I'm pretty keen to give it a go. So while I've only got the tray at the moment with the rooftop on top, I will down the line eventually get the canopy. There's a lot of plans to be made. I've got to figure out which canopy I want to get, what size. Probably thinking about a 1200 mil. That's what Sam used to have, and that seemed like plenty big enough. Plus it would still give me that little bit of tray space at the back here to chuck bits and pieces or whatever. But yeah, I'm happy with how it is at the moment. I can just chuck stuff in the back of the tray. I'll have to get a few tubs. I'll have to figure out the battery situation as well before I get the canopy. A bit of a temporary situation, maybe a fridge in the back here. If I cover it up, it should be safe, I think. But yeah, there's a lot to figure out, a lot of plans to make in terms of the setup with the new ute. But so far I'm really loving it. It's a nice rig. It's nice and clean, it's low Ks, it seems to be in good nick. I picked it up from Melbourne, so I've had a long drive with it with no dramas, and today I did a little bit of full driving, which I think I got a little bit of footage of that one I'll show you. And it went all right. It's definitely a bit different to driving the Prado, the wagon. I got to pick my lines a bit more, a little bit more articulation in the ute. Having the leaf springs in the rear is definitely a disadvantage versus the coils all around I had in the Prado, so it's going to take some getting used to, but that's what it's all about. It's a new 4B, it's exciting. I get to learn how to tackle tracks in a ute. It's something I've never done before. I've only ever had wagons, so it's a new challenge, and I look forward to building it out too. That's always kind of exciting. You've got pretty much a clean slate with the tray here, so I can do whatever I want, canopy or tubs in the back or whatever I want to do that's going to be the most ideal setup. And the best way to figure it out is to just start putting stuff together and see how it works. So that'll be the plan over the next year. Maybe I'll get a canopy, maybe I won't. We'll see how we go. Money's obviously a part of it as well. The canopy setup can be a bit expensive depending on what brand canopy you get, what's on the market, and then obviously fitting it out. You know, you've got your batteries, dual battery system, fridge, drawer systems, you know, there's quite a bit that goes into it. But right now it's super bare bones. You know, I've got the rooftop up there. I've just chucked chair, table, fire pit in the back here. I remembered to bring the ladder this time, which is a nice bonus. So yeah, I think also something I've been thinking about is I've normally had the ladder on the side here, where it just hooks onto those two spots there. But I'm thinking with the ute setup, it'd be better set up with the ladder on the back here. And obviously I'll have the awning. I haven't put it on yet. I still got the brackets on there. I'll have the awning on the side. I'm debating, so obviously if I put the ladder around here, the 270 is not really going to work. There are some 270s on the market where it swings around. There's like a little zipper where the ladder can come through and you can get up and in. That's an option. That is an option. They're a bit pricey, those ones. The other option is a 180 freestanding. There's a few different brands that do that. The King's one looks pretty good and also pretty affordable. So yeah, I don't know. Lots to think about. It's an exciting time. It's sad without the Prado, but exciting to build out this Colorado, see what I can do with it. And yeah, many more trips to come, many more adventures to have, and I'm keen to take this Colorado around and see what it can do. But it's a bit hot now. I'm about an hour and a half away from camp. Currently I'm just near the Glasshouse Mountains, and the plan for tonight is to go to a spot called Peach Trees. I've never been there before. I believe it's in the Jimna State Forest, or it might be a national park. And yeah, it's about an hour and a half north from here. So I'll start making that journey there while the sun's still nice and high in the sky. And hopefully the beers and the food will stay cold in the little esky I brought with some ice. It's real old school on this trip. Esky, ice, beers in the fridge. Hopefully it'll stay cool in this hot weather. And yeah, I'll see you guys at camp. So, made it to camp, still a decent amount of sunlight left, which is always a bonus for us. Got the car set up nice and easy, not much to do, just get a few things out and chuck the rooftop tent up. Nice little fire pit here. Did a quick little wood collector salvo, so that should be enough to have a small little decent fire for the night. And wow, what a beautiful spot this is. Beautiful, grassy, heaps of fire pits, nice and level, heaps of space as well for multiple setups. I'm lucky that I'm here in the middle of the week, so it's not too busy and there's heaps of space between everyone's little setup. So I think the main thing now is it's time to crack a beer. I've got this little esky bag. Hopefully it does well at maintaining the ice. Let's have a look. Oh, perfect. That'll be dinner later on. Just got some snacks, keeping it simple with a setup like this. And I can get the big feet right down the bottom. Got the Cooper's XPA tonight. Always a winner with this one. It's bounced around a little bit. She's a bit frothy. That tastes good after a long day of driving. Cheers, guys. So, if you've watched the channel before, you know that I was the proud owner of a 120 series Toyota Prado. Very well kitted out, pretty much had everything I would ever need. You know, bull bar, dual battery system, rooftop tent, roof racks, the whole works already. Really, it was fully set up. And recently we did a trip to Moreton Island. It was about 2-3 months ago. There was a big group of us, and we did about a week-long trip on the island, and it was a pretty crazy trip. It's a shame. We kind of planned on making a video about it, but we just didn't really do the filming. It was just so much crazy things that were happening throughout the trip. On the first day, we picked a campsite that looked good, and it was a nice campsite, but that afternoon it just started pouring torrential rain, and there was a little creek next to the campsite, and it just kept rising and rising and rising into the camp zone. We had to dig a little outlet towards the ocean, which got flowing. It took a good couple of hours of digging in the pouring rain, and we finally got it flowing out, but it was still rising, so we had to bail on that campsite on the first night. And then we stayed in a cabin for a couple of nights, and then we went back to the campsite and stayed there for the rest of the trip. And then I would say it was about day 3, day 4, we went over to the western side of the island. We'd already been there, but we went to explore a new part. And there was an inland lake that we wanted to check out. And to get to this lake, you had to go through a series of deep puddles. And when I say puddles, they're like, I would say they're like pretty much probably further from here to the fence, or yeah, probably further than that. And there was about two of those that were that big, and one that was a little bit smaller. But yeah, basically the first 2 was fine, wasn't too deep. The third one was quite deep, like over the bonnet deep. Sam went through first, and it went over the bonnet, but he took it nice and easy, and it was no drama. I followed him in the Prado, took it nice and easy. It dipped down to the left over the bonnet, but we got through, no dramas. Engine seemed fine, no issues. Went and checked out the lake, everything was nice. Time to head back. Only way you can go back is obviously back through the puddle. This time, Dan and Em, 2 friends of ours that we were with, went first. They were in a Colorado, funnily enough. They took it nice and slow. They got through all good. Over the bonnet again. It seemed deeper this time though. And something interesting, in the interim while we were looking at the lake, another couple of cars had come through, and we saw them come through, and they smashed it through. And it looks like they probably tore up the base a bit. So then I was going through second again, started going, got about a third of the way through. I felt the wheels starting to slip and spin a bit, so I gave it a little bit extra, which might have been my undoing. It just meant that right after the point where I decided to give it a little bit more power, because the wheels were starting to slip a bit, I probably should have just maintained and had faith that it would just crawl through, but I decided to give it a bit extra, as sometimes you do in these situations when you're not thinking clearly. You're in a deep water situation, and right after I gave it a bit extra power, I hit that deep hole. And this time it was on the right hand side, which is where my air intake is, and I guess it just sucked in a bunch of water, because as soon as I came out of the deep hole, the engine just switched off, wouldn't start again, had to get towed out. Got towed out by Dan and Em in their Colorado. So I know the Colorados are good, they've been tested. But yeah, they pulled me out. We pulled out to the beach and parked it up and started pulling apart the engine, the air intake. The air filter was wet, the air intake was all wet. It wasn't looking good. We checked the spark plugs, it seemed okay. There was a crack in the starter motor we could see. We WD'd 4D'd some things, fiddled around with it for a little while, but it just wouldn't start, and I had to get towed off the island. through help of Sam and Dan and Em. They towed me back to the camp. We just left the Prado out on the beach for a couple of days, and then when the ferry came, they towed me onto the ferry. Once we got back to Brisbane, I got a tow truck to a mechanic. Turns out the engine was seized, waterlocked, I should say. Yeah, my own fault. I've learned from the experience. Now I've got a snorkel on the Colorado, so but I feel like I'll be staying away from deep water for a little while now. And yeah, we thought it was just seized, but we later found out there was a hole in the engine block. So I guess a piston or something. The pressure just was too much and it exploded out the side. So I've sold the Prado, sold the shell, took all the accessories off, sold all those as well. Went down and bought this Colorado in Melbourne and drove it back up. And yeah, that's the story. You live and learn. It was a painful one, but I'm through to the other side now, so things are looking good. Things are looking better. I'm very happy with the Colorado. This is the first time I've really taken it like full driving. Just a little track there, just to get a feel for it. I'm lucky that I'm at a stage where I'm not looking to do anything too crazy full drive wise these days. It's more just having the rig that I can tour in, that I can go off-road in, drive on a beach in, that can go most places, and the Colorado definitely seems capable of that. I've been super happy with it so far. And yeah, I was umming and ahhing the wagon or the ute, but as I've said before, I was pretty keen on trying the canopy setup, so I'll be doing that eventually. But yeah, that's the story of how I've ended up with a Colorado. It was a sad tale, but all in all, I've ended up with a very cool new rig, a much updated version. My Prado was from 2003, so it's quite old. Very great car. The 120 series is awesome. Had some great experiences with it. I made a ton of memories that I'll never forget, and it took me a ton of places. It was an epic rig, and I pushed it to the edge in multiple full driving scenarios, so it's a capable vehicle, I can say that. But I'm excited for the new adventures to come in the Colorado. I'm excited to set it up. It's an awesome rig. It drives great and it sounds beefy. It's got a nice 3-inch exhaust. It's an updated 2018 model for me. That's like brand new for me. That's fantastic. So yeah, exciting times ahead. Right now tonight, I'll get that fire started momentarily, cook up those snags, enjoy a couple of these ones, and sit back and enjoy peach trees. It's a beautiful campsite. Alright guys, so that is the trip, that's the new car, and that was Peachtree's camping area out at Jimna. It's about 140 k's north of Brisbane. I'd say about 2.5 hour drive north of Brizzy, maybe a 3 hour drive if you run into some traffic. It's a beautiful camping ground, well maintained. There was no like rubbish or anything anywhere. Good big fire pits and plenty of them. Real nice grassy campground that looks like it's, yeah, well taken care of. So I would definitely recommend checking out Peachtree's. It's not too far north of Brizzy and definitely close to the Sunshine Coast. So you could make it like a beach and bush trip as well. Camp here, go to the beach, and there's plenty to explore around here as well. I'm gonna be heading out of here today, so I won't be doing too much exploring, but I did check it out on the maps and there's plenty of lookouts and walking trails and whatnot that you can go explore. There might be a bit of full driving, I'm not too sure. It's a pretty decent sized state forest and there's a few tracks that I drove past, so it could be worth going to check them out and seeing if you can get into a bit of mischief. But yeah, for now, that's gonna be the end of this video. Once again, I know we kind of do this every time, but I know it's been a long wait between videos, but with everything that happened with the Prado and Moreton Island, it's been a bit tricky to get out and film some stuff, but I'm hoping to get out again in another couple of weeks, film a little another trip, maybe a little fishing trip. And then in the new year, we'll plan to tackle a few more adventures and make a few more videos. In the meantime, see you in the next one, guys.